Namaste everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to talk about spiritual bypassing. So spiritual bypassing is all about whenever you use spiritual ideas, concepts to escape reality. It is completely opposite of what true spirituality is supposed to be. Spirituality is supposed to be about self-transformation, not escaping reality. So the ego plays a very big role in spiritual bypassing. It uses all these concepts, ideas, and makes it a ideology, a mental thing, a philosophy, not something where you are actually transforming your life. It likes to just think about things and stay there on that mental level. It doesn't want to act on it. It doesn't want to integrate it. It wants to make it a part of identity. And a very good example of that is organized religion. Majority of the people who are under the organized religion, their religion is not helping them to connect with their own spiritual nature. It is a philosophy. It is a mental thing. It is believing something. It is not about knowing. It is not about transformation. You can stay the same. You don't have to change. You don't have to transform anything. You don't have to realize anything. You just have to believe certain sets of principles, things, concepts, ideas, and then you belong to a particular religion. It's not about self-knowledge. It's not about understanding who you are. It's not about transforming yourself. So that's why you will see a lot of people who are under the energy of religion and they are really extreme about it. They are orthodox about it. They become really rigid. They are holding on to those beliefs. They are not open to change. They are really, really rigid, like stones. And they don't want a new perspective. They hate the new perspective. They want to hold on to their own perspectives and they want to prove that their perspective is right. Everyone else's perspective is wrong. My God is the only God. What you think of God, what your perception is of God, what your understanding is of God does not matter. That is not spirituality. That is just letting your ego create division because of the identification. The ego always wants to be better than others, better than someone else, better than other egos. The collective has created the narrative that my religion is better. A certain set of people. Now other set of people had created another religion. So they both have a particular ego and they are fighting about it. That mine is better. Only mine works. But if you zoom out from all these perspectives and you see the reality, which is that all these humans are giving their power away to something which was organized, created to control them. It is not giving them self-knowledge. It is not empowering them. It is not telling them that they are part of this universe, this God, this source. They are connected to it. They are not separate from it. So spiritual bypassing never lets you experience your true spiritual nature. It never lets you embark on a real spiritual journey. So one of the major ways that people do spiritual bypassing is on the emotional level. You can also call that emotional bypassing. Whenever we hear the word spiritual, we only see peace, love, light. We only want to see the good side of life, the positive experiences of life. But life is both good and bad. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad. So spiritual bypassing is about when you're only saying that focus on the good side. Focus on the positive emotions and negative emotions are bad. Making you feel guilty, judging you for experiencing the bad emotion, for saying that I'm feeling sad. If you say that you're feeling sad to a person who is a professional in spiritual bypassing, they will just tell you to focus on the positive. They will never allow you to become vulnerable, to share your sadness, to express your sadness. You will be shunned. So this is a sign that majority of the people are emotionally disconnected from themselves because of this emotional bypassing, spiritual bypassing. So to escape their emotions by spiritual concepts, what they do is they mold any teaching in their own way. For example, you might have heard the saying, you're a spiritual being having a human experience. So the ego can use that as well. I am feeling sad. I'm not my feelings. I'm not my body. I'm a spiritual being. They forget that this realization that you are a spiritual being having a human experience is supposed to be a realization. It is from a different standpoint and you exist from different standpoints. From one standpoint, you are a spiritual being. From another standpoint, you are a human being. And human beings have emotions. You are an emotional being also. So to negate that and to use teachings, sayings, realizations to negate what you're feeling, that's spiritual bypassing. You are escaping yourself. And emotions are energy, energy in motion, emotion. So whenever you are not allowing yourself to express that, feel that, you are suppressing that emotion, and that emotion blocks your emotional body. Your emotional body, your energy body is made up of your energy centers, chakras, and you end up blocking them. You end up clogging them with suppressed emotions, because emotions are supposed to move, they're supposed to be in a flow, but you are blocking them. So that's why allowing yourself to feel sad when it's time, when you're unable to escape from it, instead of using spiritual concepts to escape it. I'm not the body, I'm not the emotion, I am the consciousness, I am the spiritual being. That's not helpful at all. Sometimes you have to allow yourself and you have to go into it. That's the way the human body, the emotional body, processes the emotion. It does not process by saying certain things to yourself, especially when it comes to emotion. When it's coming from the thought level, yes, you can say that I am not my thoughts, I can switch to something better. But a lot of time there is a cycle of thought and emotion. You think something and then you start feeling something. There is a cycle of thought and feeling, and you can't break that cycle by saying I'm not my thoughts. Sometimes you have to feel it. You have to feel that emotion, you have to release that, so that your body does not get used to it, so that you don't always think that type of thoughts that trigger the past within you. So you have to break the cycle by healing that wound, that emotional wound, the suppressed emotion. And there is a great saying, you have to feel it to heal it. And it completely explains what healing is all about. And it helps you to release all the emotions. It helps you to heal your emotional body. And another level of spiritual bypassing is toxic positivity. Like I said earlier, the ego always wants to look life in black and white, good and bad, happiness and sadness. And it always is either for or against something. If you are for the good side, you will be against the bad side. And sometimes people go to the other extreme. They become for the bad side and against the good side. That's also not healthy. The point is that life is both. Just look at the weathers. Some days are sunny, some days are rainy. The winter comes and the summer is also there. There are many opposite polarities that happen in life. That's existential. It's not made up. We are not making this up. It's existential. The good and bad, sadness and happiness, they both are part of life and they both serve a purpose. So if you are only on one spectrum, that I only want to feel good, that's my idea of spirituality. Positive, positive, light, light, only positive. That's not true spirituality. It will not help you transform. It will just give you a belief system and you will just hold on to it, and you will escape everything. You will reject parts of you that you need to own. You will never acknowledge your sadness. You will just go on suppressing that. You will never be able to hold space for people who are feeling sad. You will just try to make them see the positive, but you will never realize what they are going through, and you need to hold space for them. It's not about changing them, it's not about giving them a solution. And the people who are really practicing toxic positivity as a spiritual bypassing, they don't realize this. And sometimes they have not gone through that stuff, or they have not acknowledged that they have trauma, that they need to heal their emotional wounds also, that they need to sit with their emotions. They have used other things to fill that void. They have used validation. There are many things that you can use, and one of them is addictions. The spiritual bypassing can even allow you to have addictions by using certain principles. Oh, it's okay, I'm just relaxing. If you allow yourself any kind of addiction, and you know when you're addicted to something because you can't live without it, it's something that you need to do every weekend, it's something that you need to do every day. If you skip one weekend, one day, you can't live without it. You feel uneasy, you feel irritated. So it can find loopholes that why you should allow that addiction to exist. And that addiction will stop you from moving forward. It will stop you from transforming your life. Spirituality is about radical transformation. It's about awakening. When you realize something, when you have realizations, it's not about just sitting with them. And the people who talk about realizations and are into spiritual bypassing, they never have the realization. The proof is that their life is not transforming. They are staying the same. They are staying in the same patterns of fear. They are staying in the same patterns of their programming. They are not breaking out of it. They just talk about it. They just give an image that I know things. but deep down they remain the same. They are still into their addictions, they are still into their limiting beliefs, into their fears. They never take the leap of faith to go on the other side. And that's where transformation happens. So it will use sayings like live in the moment, don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. So it does not mean to just get high and not do anything at all. Everything will take care of itself. Just get high all day long and escape reality. It doesn't mean that at all. One of the most normalized thing in our world right now is escaping reality through getting high. It's the most normal thing. But you don't realize that if you are using the high to escape reality, you are not doing the best thing for your most highest version. Because the time that you use to do these things, to do such activities, it's passing by and everything is happening in this now moment. And when you are such a person, you don't realize that you are postponing everything to tomorrow, that there will be a time when I will do things. Right now, I don't know what to do, so I will just get high. It's the best thing to cope with my reality. I can just keep doing everything the same way. Let's just say that you hate your job, you hate something about your life, you can just stay there. But at the end of the day, you can get high and you can forget everything. And the next morning, you can do the same things. This is what majority of the people do, and it's normal. But it's very unhealthy because you are not transforming anything in your life. You're just staying the same. You're doing the same stuff and you have just found a coping mechanism. And spiritual bypassing is also using spirituality as a coping mechanism. That's what spiritual bypassing is. Coping with reality. When you cope with reality and you are not transforming anything, you end up bypassing. You end up escaping. Whether it's your emotions, reality, your addictions, anything that you don't want to face, it becomes really easy to escape it. Especially your shadow side, the side that you don't want to see, the bitter truths about yourself. You can escape it. And the people who are into spiritual bypassing, they are never present. They are always postponing. They are always in the future. They are always somewhere else. They are in their principles, in their ideologies, but they are never present. Because when you are present, that's where transformation happens. Life is always here and now. Life is not in the future. So it will always make you believe that tomorrow something will happen. I will do something tomorrow. I will do something after 1 month. But in the here and now, you are doing the opposite of that. You are not at all aligned with who you actually are, with your authentic self. And you are postponing that to tomorrow, to the future. And your life is just going by because you are not making any radical transformation. You are just waiting for something outside of yourself to change your life. There is definitely a force that guides us. There is a divine timing. But you also have to do your best. You also have to embody the energy of your authentic self in the present, your authentic truth. And your authentic truth does not come from escaping reality. It does not come from your addictions. It does not come from spiritual bypassing. Your authentic truth comes from embodying your true authentic self, which happens when you accept all that you are, when you stop escaping yourself, when you accept that yes, sometimes I feel sad and sometimes I feel happy. And when you acknowledge that sadness, it will help you heal. It will help you heal the parts of yourself that you have abandoned, that you feel are not worthy. So it's all interconnected. It will help you to live in the present moment. So don't practice spiritual bypassing. Don't bypass your emotions. Don't practice toxic positivity. Don't normalize addictions. Live in the present. Don't always postpone things. Always try to do things in the present, not tomorrow, not after 1 week, 1 month, when the time will be right. All you have is here and now. Stop escaping your here and now. Try to be as authentic as you can, as purposeful as you can in the here and now, because your next moment is created out of this moment. It's a series. If you don't express yourself in this now moment, your next moment will be a byproduct of that. It will be very similar to it, which will be your inauthentic life of spiritual bypassing. So true spirituality is about self-knowledge, self-transformation. It's about living in the moment. It's about accepting your emotions. It's about healthy positivity, not toxic positivity. It's about seeing all the perspectives of life and realizing that radical transformation is the way to become your best version, your highest self. So don't use spirituality as a coping mechanism because it becomes spiritual bypassing. Use spirituality as a self transforming tool, as a self understanding tool. Spirituality, in one word, is all about awareness, consciousness. It's not about mental ideas, it's not about philosophies, it's not about something of a concept. It's consciousness. How conscious you are of the positive and negative also. How conscious you are of life, of this moment. How conscious you are of your own consciousness. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can like, comment, share. You can also support my work by hitting the thanks button, and please make sure to subscribe. See you in the next video. Much love to you all.